Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Oh my goodness, it feels like forever since I've come on and had a chance to talk with everybody. I know it's not, but oh, does it feel that way? It's crazy. I went on my weekend retreat. It was amazing. So for those that are not familiar, I went to a retreat with Galina Khmeleva. I'm not good at pronouncing Russian names. Wonderful. Absolutely spectacular is an understatement. If you look her up and find where she is teaching, I know she's got at least 6 shows this year, at least. Highly recommend if you have the ability to take a course from her. I don't get anything from it. I was just blown away. I would love to take more from her. And if traveling and all of those costs and expenses don't quite cut it, she does have on Interweave Knits. It's a DVD Zoom online course. I think it's like $35, $39, something along that line, where she goes over those things for you. We know the Zoom courses and everything are a lot more popular nowadays. I keep wanting to say Craftsy, but it's not on Craftsy. But yeah, absolutely spectacular. If you have a chance to get any of her DVDs, they're not being produced anymore, so you're getting them after the fact, or go straight out to Interweave Knits and you can pay for and download that information. Not trying to be a commercial for her. I don't get anything from it. I was just so absolutely blown away at everything I was able to see and to learn, and I am just like a babe in the woods as far as this goes. It's the Orenburg lace. Galina is 74 years old currently. She came from Russia to the United States in the mid-90s. I think it was 1995, and she's been here. She's teaching this beautiful, absolutely stunning tradition. And hey guys, if you don't like purl stitch, this is the one for you. It is all knit and yarn overs, and you got knit 2 together. No pearls. Shetland lace is what introduced the pearls. Orenburg lace was prior to that, so it is all knit stitch. Don't let that fool you. There's still plenty to keep you busy, occupied, and going, what did I sign up for? Especially if you wanted to do one of the huge, large shawls. Oh my, they are such works of art, no doubt. And I got to see quite a few over this last weekend. It was one beautiful, gorgeous piece after another. Small shawls and large 4 feet by 4 feet squares, and then there was these gorgeous rectangles. I mean, stunning is an understatement. And lace, when I was driving home from my retreat, because, you know, I drove and stayed and, you know, that stuff, I get on the phone with my husband, and I was like an auctioneer all the way home. I was talking like this, and I did this, and I did this. It was nonstop for the entire way, and it's a bit of a drive. I'm just going to throw that out there. It was a bit of a drive, you know, but it was nonstop, just chatter. I would not personally, if you have that ability, I wouldn't hesitate. If you have any interest in lace and looking at history, Galina is a walking history lesson. It was spectacular. I won't go into the stories and everything, although they're extremely interesting. Those are hers to tell. But if you have that ability, I know this is the second time that I've been able to see her in a classroom type setting. I had gone up to Loveland, Colorado in 2023, and it was a 6-hour class, and she told lots of different fun stories, and, you know, interspersed in with the teaching and the tradition at Orenburg lace. Absolutely thrilled. There are some other resources. I'll see if I can link that. I know Fiber Nations did an interview with her, and that's also linked in Interweave Knits, and that is a wonderful one to go ahead and listen to also. So there are some things that you can find. Just search her name, and I'll have her name spelled correctly in the description box, but search her name and there are things that you can find. And that's what I did. I did a little internet sleuthing, etc., because I had a retreat scheduled 2 years ago that ended up getting canceled through unforeseen circumstances, and I wanted to do one again. So I did the typical internet sleuthing, like I'm advising you to do if you're interested, and found where she was going to be contacted and was able to join in. And I am so thrilled that I was able to do that. All weekend long, we were working on all the construction of an Orenburg shawl, and I had to make a small sample piece. Yeah, and it humbled me. It humbled me. Definitely humbled. I know it is kind of an interesting one. We all have our skills and talents, and this is reading a chart, and the chart is not that hard. It's not. But oh my gosh, if I could have memorized especially the border, the border that I was doing was anywhere from 18 stitches to 23 stitches, because you increase to make a point and then you decrease, and you increase and you decrease. And it's like, okay, I can do this. I can memorize this. Not for the life of me. I had to, you know that highlighter tape that you can get and put on your charts? I had to move that thing up, and I kept trying to going, oh, I've got it. Unknitting as much as I knit. I swear I unknit as much as I knit. And I'm still working on it. So I am practicing doing the border and everything again. Do you want to see? Do you want to see what I got done? I pinned it out. This isn't exactly, I mean, it's pinned on a blocking board. I haven't wetted. I haven't done anything. I just wanted to see it kind of stretched because it looked like a bowl. Lace knitting, right? We understand how that works. So this is, yeah, you can't really see the details too well. It needs to be off the blocking board to see that. But what I was getting at is, I'm going to stand up so I can be a little closer. All right, well, you can see a little bit. So this border right here, from here to where that line is, all the way, that's the border. And that thing right there for me to work on and try to memorize was just kicking. I mean, wow, that was difficult. And then these here is mushki, okay? And that right there, Nancy Bush calls them nups. Mushki has two meanings in Russian. One is, I'm just drawing a blank on what the first one is, like a fly, something along that line, like a gnat type of a thing. But the other one is beauty mark, and that is what it's for. So when Nancy Bush was looking up for her book, she saw the Russian translation of mushki and didn't like that one, and then ended up naming them nups. But that's what these are here. And then this stitch is called the honeycomb stitch. And wow, that took a lot of concentration for me. A lot of concentration. Now this is all done in one piece. So you start off doing the border, and it's called doing teeth, right? So here's one full repeat. There's another, right? The scallop. So you're doing that. So on this piece, I did the 4 teeth, and then you do some short row lace. Blown away. Did we know this was possible? I mean, it makes sense that you could do it, but did we know this was possible? The me part of the we was not aware. The me part of the we was blown away. I did learn that originally when I took the class 2 years ago. I did not practice it a bunch. And for that matter, prior to the class, I did start another piece. Is it in here? Where did I put it? Oh, just a minute. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to grab all these little pieces and started. This is a mystery cone of something that I got at the thrift store for way cheap. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Didn't really care. It was smaller gauge, which is what I wanted to do. And prior to going up to the retreat, I decided, let me go grab my class notes from 2 years previous and look at them, right, and see what I can do. Well, overall, it's pretty neat. I'm going to have to pull it back because there were some things that I was supposed to do. You can see the lace is not symmetrical. I don't have as many stitches on the edge here as I do here. That's not how that's supposed to be. That is supposed to be symmetrical in the middle and everything, and it's not. I can keep my original down here. These 1, 2, 3, 4, I can keep those. Here, this one right here, that's where we were doing short rows. Blown away. We did short rows right here, and then started going across. did some crazy short rows over here on this side. Like I said, it's all in one piece. Then you go up, however many you're going up, you do short rows on the third corner, go across, picking up stitch, knitting two together. Crazy. I'm telling you, the whole thing was crazy. And then you do more short rows and you graft that corner. So this is the first time going and doing all of it. And like I said, I will block this and stretch it, wet block. This is just pinned out because I was curious. I wanted to see how nice does that lace look. Is it worth the pain in the backside? I'm not going to lie. It's been kicking my backside since. I have done nothing but practice on lace, and I will show you how far I got. And you're like, that's it? I know. I think if I continue at this pace, I might get something of size done in about 10 years. Crazy. So I have nothing big to show that I got done because that's just how that works. But let me go over this. So we've got this, like I said, started down here and did that border, went across because I got to get out of these little teeth. It's going like this. So the border's going like this, right? And going across. Then I did some short rows on the corner here, went across here, and you can see that line. That's where stitches were picked up right there in that line. Did some short rows over here to make this corner, you make the other corner, and then from that point, we were going back and forth. So I had border stitches, pattern in here, and these big border stitches. And that was a lot to keep track of. It was so much. You know, I didn't go in all cocky thinking I could do everything, but I was humbled. Nevertheless, I was humbled with getting this much done. It is so stunning. And I got some I got some patterns that I want to make additional things, right? I want to do more. I don't want to just go, okay, I did it. I went to the class. I did it. Kind of like the brioche. I did the thing. I made one thing and I'm like, I was good. I was satisfied. I just wanted to know that I could. And I could do that right now. Look, see, I did it. I could frame that. I'm just not going to lie. I could frame that. Really proud of the work that I did. A friend was able to go to said retreat with me, and everything that she did was amazing. It was wonderful because she didn't have a lot of the confidence when she went in, and the stuff that she was able to do was absolutely stunning. I think she really surprised herself. Galina is a fabulous teacher. So we had beginner with the knitting and everything. And you had me, which, I look like kindergarten class in comparison to like what Elena can do and Galina can do. But we had just a slightly different, skill levels. And she tailored things perfectly for us and, everyone that's involved. She tailored them. It was spectacular. I got so much. My friend got so much. We got patterns. We got knowledge. We got excitement to go on and do more. What more could you want from a weekend? I mean, that is fantastic. And it's just absolutely amazing. So I have this, and this is, I did mine in fingering weight. My friend was working, I believe, in sport. I was working in fingering weight just to see the stuff. I had size 3 needles just to see the stuff, to feel comfortable. And the whole thing is to learn with a large enough yarn that you're not fighting your yarn and new techniques and pattern. I mean, that right there is a recipe for disaster, doing all of that stuff. So it was absolutely wonderful. The yarn was geared towards me, and the yarn was geared towards her. So we both had something that worked perfectly for us. We both left feeling success and that we can continue. And that is fantastic. This border is still kicking my backside because I've come home, I've been home for a few days, and I've been really working on that. And I decided I wanted to grab some, and I've got some other yarns. I did buy some yarns. And I could show them, but it's fine. But I did buy some other yarns, and I wanted to start with one of these new yarns that I got. And I decided to hold off. I need more practice before using that yarn. Well, okay, I'll show you this one. So this organza bag right here. Oh my gosh. of course I went with the rust orange goodness, right? And this was some yarn that she had in her personal stash, and she decided that she would sell it if I was interested. And hello, did we see the colors? So this is a cashmere, and that is a rust orange and everything. It's like 600 yards for this. Whoa, 600 yards for this little cake, and then 600 yards for the other cake. And this is cashmere. And Layla, that is a lace. And then this is silk, and that is so fine. So they can be done together or separately. All right. And I want something out of this. I think this would be one of those, hey guys, look at my progress. I got this big, and I'd be proud. I would be just so thrilled and happy because this is stretching me. This is outside of what I normally do. And with the patterns and trying to look at that chart, again, it's not hard, but it's kicking my backside because I have to pay attention, and I'm stubborn, and I don't necessarily want to use the little tape and move it up one line at a time, which would make reading charts easier. So it's self-inflicted wounds. Let's put it that way. It's self-inflicted. So I'm wanting to start with this. I did get 3 different colors of yarn. This one is just, hello, we know that. And I decided it's probably best that I don't start with this one yet because I need to practice a little bit more. I need to practice reading the patterns. I need to have a little bit more success. I don't want to start anything huge yet because that's going to take a while. I need a little bit more success before going on to that. I do have some other very, very thin yarns like this with the lace, like this. And I will show you this beautiful purple. Yeah, let me get this needle out of the way. And I had asked Galina, say, okay, using this yarn, what size needles would I use? And she said, based off of everything that I was doing, I was working in size 3. She said, I'm average to loose on the knitting. Okay, that's, with the lace, with the learning and stuff. So she was saying 0s to 1s. All right, maybe 1.5, but that would be the range that I would want to go. This little ball of yarn right here, 600 yards. This is a cashmere blend, and I thought, okay, I'm going to work with this. I have my other choices. I've got a ball similar to this size-wise, and it's 1,000 yards, so I can make a large shawl with that one ball. So I don't want to mess with that at the moment. It's the same with the rust. That's going to be over the 1,200 yards. That'll make a large something. And there's a pattern that I was given, and I don't have a visual of what it looks like finished, but I know what it is charted. And it's, some of the stuff is the same as that thistle flower that I've got in that. It's the same as that, which is, that's something. The honeycomb is a difficult one to pay attention and to get all your decreases and everything right, because that's a true knitted lace. The difference between lace knitting and knitted laces, lace knitting is like patterning on one side and then what you call a relief row on the back side, whether it's all purl, not in this case, it's all garter stitch, but something along that line. It's like you have all your patterns, your knit 2 togethers, your yarn overs, your slip knit, that's not in Orenburg, but that type of thing. All your patterning is on one side, and on the back side is just either plain in Orenburg lace knitting, or in others it would be just purl on the backside in a stockinette fabric. So this one, it's, wow, I lost where I was going to go. I did. But I do have the patterns, and I have that, and I was thinking I wanted to go ahead and start something. And I grabbed this yarn, and I grabbed size 1 needles, and we know I've got a lot of my size 1 double points, right? I've got tons of these for my sock knitting. So I grabbed these and I tried. And I kept messing up that border because I'm stubborn and I didn't want to look at it line by line. Again, self-inflicted. It's like, yeah, can't memorize it by now? No, I can't. There are elements of it on the way you're decreasing to line up those holes to make the beautiful pattern. Some of them you're doing the decrease and then the yarn over, right? Because they're paired. And other ones you're doing the yarn over and then the decrease. And that matters on where the holes go and how they line up. So I haven't been able to read my knitting so much so to know, and I don't have it memorized. So it was kicking me. So I was doing this with this fine lace yarn, and it was hard. I was losing it and everything, and then I decided I'm going to go do my zeros. And my zeros are wooden. I know you're like, why would you have wooden zeros? That's toothpicks. I know, but that's what I have. And so I went to those, and I found that to be much easier. Not to say it's easy, because I'm still struggling row by row, because again, stubborn. I want to be able to memorize it to where I can do that easier, but I haven't yet, and I'm just irritating myself. So I should stop. I should get over myself, you know, get off that high horse and use the little chart keepers, use the other stuff along that line, use my clues until I memorize it. And if I don't, well, just move that stupid little marker up every time. So this one I have, let me count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I am working on what I call the 7th scallop on this. Look at this. Can we see that? Yeah, you can see it against my shirt. Look how tiny that is. You can see the lace on the backdrop of my shirt when I go like that. But how tiny, and I mean, it'll stretch, but that is so fine, so tiny. These are the zeros right here. It is stunning. So as an example, this is the 6 teeth. Remember, that one right there, I had the 4. This one with the fingering weight, right? 1, 2, 3, right here to here. That's 4 teeth. Okay, let me line this up with it. And that's 6. So, I mean, just the fineness is wow. And then being so tiny. Like, look at that. So there we go. Look at that. So doing the zigzag, I've got that with the holes right there, but this little 4 thing, little 4 holes right here, this little diamond in the center, that one. This one's a little easier than what that other border was. That one had like 9 holes on the center like that. And that one was a couple different techniques, and that one really got me. So I would like to go larger on this. I've got a pattern that I would like to try, and it needs to start off with the 8 teeth. That's what we call them, the 8 scallops, right? So you can see the points, right? So 8 of these, and then do that corner. Short row lace knitting. Talk about blow my mind. That is absolutely crazy. And pick up stitches going all the way across, and then do the other side of that short row, and then start the pattern. And that's going to be a crazy one, because the pattern, like I said, that I have has this at the edge, that big flower, that thistle flower in the center. It has that with the honeycomb stitch on the top. Which I did it. I struggled. I unknit probably as much as I knit. I really did. So proud of myself for getting that done. So proud for accomplishing this piece. And it was funny. I brought it home, and I just had a little bit on that final corner to finish off and everything. And I was showing hubby. I was just trying to hold it up and stretch it. And it's just like this ball. It doesn't look good. You know how that goes. Lace does not look good in that state. And he's like, what's it supposed to be? Nothing. It's just this. I can frame it. I can use it as a doily. I can do whatever. It's practice, honey. I did it. It's practice. It's not a scarf. It's not a doily. Could be. It's not a tablecloth, a placemat. It just is. That's practice there with all the elements and all the features. It's kind of like, you know, doing a baby sock, right? You know, it's like that's all of the everything for a shawl. Now you pick your elements. Now you pick your pieces. So Orenburg lace has 10 primary elements. Those are different. I just dropped my sock. Those are different designs is what that is. And then you utilize those throughout the shawl. And absolutely amazing. It's really interesting how you can take a garter stitch fabric and some very appropriately placed holes and come up with beauty, spectacular, just an heirloom piece. It's amazing. And like I said, I was completely humbled. I did not go in thinking, hey, I'm great and wonderful, I can do all this stuff. No. And I was definitely humbled and so thankful for the experience of being able to take that course. I did pick up this. I will show this. So this is a hand knit shawl. And I don't think Galina made this one. Let's see, it's a Hapsalo. This is a Estonian lace. So this is just the Estonian lace. This is not the Orenburg lace. I do have an Orenburg lace shawl, but this is an Estonian one, and I thought it was so pretty that I just, you know, she was willing to sell it, and I definitely wanted it. And what I loved about this is the mushki, right here, the nubs, they are just stand out so much so with just that thicker fabric that it's almost like a completely different color right there. This right here is just the finest thing. But look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And you can see even with that, you've got those borders along the edge, right? So different type of a border, but you definitely have those borders along the edge. But this is stunning. So this one right here has a right side. So that's the stockinette. You can see the stockinette fabric. So again, this is the Estonian lace, not the Orenburg. So it's stockinette. So you do have the knit on the right side. But it was just too pretty. It's just gorgeous. And then you have right here the pearl on the wrong side. So that is a definite difference. She does teach different types of lace as far as the history of them on some of her DVDs and instructional manuals. I don't know how lucky you would get to get a physical copy of the DVD if that's what you were going for, but people don't really have DVD players so much. I don't know. We have something. Hubby sent something on me on the Xbox, so I can watch them on the Xbox. But you've got that. But you can also, like I said, download her courses, download that to see if that's something that you are interested in, and play around with it. Learn the history of something that you're not familiar with and work that way. Speaking of, so I've got this. You know what? I do have I have two shawls that are of the Orenburg variety, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And this, I think, makes the Estonian lace one, which is very finely done, look almost like worsted weight in comparison, and they're not. Can we see how just see-through and delicate and just how airy? Look at that. It is so thin and just so absolutely amazing. And this is just a lovely big triangle and just gorgeous. I mean, absolutely. But look at that. I mean, so thin. It's hardly even there. But how gorgeous is that? Look at that. However you would want to wear a particular shawl. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. So this one, like I said, is the Orenburg style. And the thread to do this, look at that. Can we see how tiny that is? That is just crazy. Tiny, small. You can see some of the individual, you can see right there on my thumb, that's an individual thread right there. That is, yeah, that is a talent. That is a skill. That is just something to be in awe of. Absolutely amazing. This does not get a lot of wear because I'm afraid to use it. And I just love to have it and to snuggle with it. And it's warmer than it looks. So much warmer than what it looks. It's just beautiful. Look at that. Look at all the details that are on that just have to be looked at and paid attention to, and beyond belief. That right there is just beyond belief. All right, so that is one of. And then the other one that I have, these, like I said, I got 2 years ago. The Estonian one I just got this year. So this is huge. So let's look at how thin and fine this is. Had to go delete a bunch of things off my camera because it said, you're full. Look at that. That is just, I can't even describe how that is. But you can see how tiny those threads are. And this is beyond amazing. Look at all the pattern work in here, and you can get, that's in the center. Oh my gosh. This is just too big to even show you right here. This is a better one to put outside to where you can really just see all of it. And this is absolutely huge. Stunning. Look at the workmanship on that. This is stuff to aspire to. I mean, absolutely thrilling. And how it just smushes down to just nothing. Oh my gosh. and wear it however you want to wear it. Just gorgeous, bunched up, beautiful lace. And it's huge, and this is an heirloom piece. This is 100% an heirloom piece that you hand down from generation to generation. And all the different techniques, all the different lace, that's not a whole bunch of, oh, let me do 4 or 5 rows of, because it's garter stitch, let me just knit for 5, 10, 15 rows. That'll be easy, and then do a little lace and do a little detail and do a little whatever. No, there is so much stuff going on in every single row. And you have to remember too, the women that are doing this, the Orenburg lace is a cottage industry. Like 12,500 women that were doing this. And this was a major money source for Russia. And these women had these patterns memorized. They didn't have the charts like we're looking at. They didn't do those types of things. You had her teacher would go around the country and everything and then teach and train on how to do these particular patterns. And they had government sanctioned patterns, for lack of a better word, right? And they didn't have Xerox machines like we have. They didn't have copy things that we have. They didn't have the charts that we have. They memorized it. And I'm over here going, I just want to memorize this little tiny, this little tiny lace piece, this one little bit of the border. Just trying to memorize that little bit, it's kicking my backside. And then to have memorized all of this and be able to do that. Again, there's 10 different elements that are in a shawl, and generally your shawls don't have any more than 3. And if you, they might be repeated a bunch, that's fine. But these young women, these girls grew up with this. This was taught in schools. They grew up with this, how to hold your yarn, how to hold your needles, how to spin, how to just do all of this. And that's what I meant by I was at kindergarten level, if that, and just absolutely humbled in this particular course. Not because anyone said anything to me, not because anyone did anything to me, just the fact that this little bit right here with me coming home and trying to practice is like, wow, that's really hard. Just trying to memorize that, because I know having that bit memorized will make it easier. And it would be easier if I didn't put that diamond in there. That diamond is a little more difficult than what you would think. It would be easier for me to just do the zigzags, but I didn't want to go that route. I want to be able to do the harder. I did do the backs. I stepped back from my practice piece that I did in the class because that one was really difficult. So I did do a step back from that, but I didn't want to go to the basic. I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to push myself. I might be regretting that, but that's what I wanted to do. The other thing that it was suggested is, if I'm not doing the smaller yarns and practicing like that, practice before you go to a big piece. Don't cast something on like this. I mean, you can, not recommended, not wise. You can work up to it, but because you're gonna, no matter what yarn you're using, no matter how amazing the yarn is that you're using, and the tools are great and they're custom fit and they work great for you, by the time you get anywhere near this being done, you're going to hate your yarn, you're going to hate your choice, you're going to hate your life as far as your knitting, and you might end up just not knitting because of it, and we don't want that. So I've got this piece, and that's why I did the backing off a little bit and did a slightly simpler border, right? And working through that, and I'm trying to recognize what the next stitch is, you know, called reading your knitting. And other things, I can definitely read my knitting. I really can. I know what goes next. I understand it. It makes total sense. This one, there's a block, and it's a me thing. So working on that and trying to just kind of see in my own mind how these women did this, how they produced this gorgeous, beautiful artwork. How could you call this anything but a stunning work of art? I mean, it's you can't look at that. Look how just perfection. There's not a whole lot of place in this entire thing. I mean, this is just, that is perfection. And all of those different designs and shapes and everything that's involved with this, I mean, you can see just showing that little bit what that is. That is just, I don't know how else to describe it. That is just too perfect, too gorgeous, too amazing. So I'm going to continue on with trying to learn. One of the other things that it was suggested is get some mercerized cotton. Hello, I've got that, you know, Aunt Lydia's bedspread thread, right? And practice doing the border, whichever border, do all of them, do one of them, do whatever, but practice doing that border and get really good at that with that mercerized cotton. And I got this connected. And what you do with that is you take that border and what am I doing here? I got them all tangled. But you take that border and you sew it to a washcloth. You sew it to a hand towel. You sew it to whatever. You're using it. It's doing something. It's a decorative element. What do I... Okay, set it down. Stop touching. Stop touching. They're tangled. Stop touching. But use that as an element to decorate all the different things in your life. And give them away as gifts. There you go. You're practicing. You're taking your practice piece and just grab a sewing machine if you've got one. Do a zigzag stitch over the top of that lace, you know, you bound off, and there you have it. So now you have lace detail that you've made with mercerized cotton attached to the end of a hand towel, a whatever. That's your decorative towel. Give it away as Christmas gifts. It's just your practice piece. It doesn't mean anything else. And you're making something fun and you're getting better at the craft. So I've got some cotton and that's exactly what I'm going to start working on. I might try to get the 8 teeth on this and turn the corner. I'm tenacious, but then I got to find my longer size 1 needles because then I need my circulars. I am tenacious. I want to do this. It shows so little. That took me so long. It shows so little progress, but it's a challenge. It's just, you know, we all have that. We have those challenges and everything. This, to me, was easy in comparison to that. This, I could see, and I didn't have a problem following the chart for this, right? You know, with the color work and everything. This was a lot easier for my brain than what this lace is. That little tiny repeat, you know, 18 stitches going up to 23 stitches, it's not going to beat me. It's not going to beat me. I'm telling you, it's just not. So that's where I'm at with that. And it absolutely cracks me up, but that's where that one is. And again, with all of this stuff, if there's something that you're interested in trying, go for it. And if you're lucky enough to be around somebody who is good at that craft and they can teach you, better yet. If not, we know the internet has so many different resources. For me personally, I will end up getting all of those downloads that Galina has. I will pay for all of those and I will have those in my library. I've got some of the books, I've got some of the magazines, I've got some patterns, but I will have that as a resource in my library. So I can pull that up going, I don't remember how to do this. Why is this so hard for me? Again, it's not hard. It's a block in here. And look at those things again going, oh, that's okay. I have that. That's all right. I've got that. And just the moment when something is done, the pride, the happiness and everything. I'm not saying like being prideful. That's not what I'm getting at. But just so thrilled like this. You know, this is not anything like super great and wonderful. But for me, that is super great and wonderful. For me, this right here is a massive success. I hadn't done that type of thing before. I hadn't used these particular techniques and I was able to successfully do it. Yeah, it was slow. That's okay. You know, 1 stitch counts and I was still able to get there 1 stitch at a time. And I'm really happy that I did stick to that border and I didn't just shrink down to a simpler border, which would have been faster and it would have been easier, no doubt, but perseverance. And then one of the things Galina likes to do is to get students that are starting to get the concept, get them started on a project or a piece that has that honeycomb, that flower part in the top, that particular stitch pattern, because it's one of the more difficult ones. And get that out of the way. Get them working on that difficult thing and realizing, oh yeah, it might be slow. In my case, maybe other people fly through it. I don't know. But it might be slow, but you can do it. And again, it's just yarn, right? We can do this. And it was easier to see my mistakes and everything on the larger yarn. On the smaller, I'm dealing with this, the tininess of the stitches for one thing and the new pattern. But what a sense of accomplishment. And if there's something that you're wanting to do, jump on board because you can do it. You can do anything that you want to, and you can have that feeling too, whether it's like my husband's like, what is it? What's it for? It just is, honey. It just is. It's just pretty. It has no use but for me to practice. That's all. Just me to practice. And the other fun part with that, with those borders, even if you don't get into doing all of the inner workings like that, you can put those pretty scalloped edges, right? I mean, that's a pretty good border right there. That one's another complicated one. But you can put those edges around anything. Okay, you already have a piece. You bought a blanket, like we got baby, little baby Noah, 3.5 pounds. Awesome. So, you know, you can take that and use an appropriate material, what have you, and then knit that border around your already purchased thing, blanket that you have, whatever it is, and really make it into that heirloom piece. And you're practicing the art and you're practicing the craft and you're making it special. So, you know, it's a little bit of homemade and a little bit of store-bought kind of put together, that type of a thing. But you can really do those fun things and add those borders, increase your skills, learn something new. I don't know. That's where I'm at. That's what I've got going on with all of these gorgeous shawls that talk about an aspiration. These are amazing. These are stunning. This is about 3,000-ish yards of lace weight yarn, just to give you an idea on that. This is about that 1,500. So, you know, the big triangle, the big square, just absolutely amazing amount. And it is so light. It just, I mean, it looks like it would be, you know, hey, that's some heft to it. There's no heft. There is no heft at all. These are light as air. Absolutely amazing. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. And I'm going to put my shawls away nice and neat so nothing happens to them. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.